Okay, I will just do a small intro. Ребята, всем привет! Сегодня я со своим другом Джоном, о котором вы уже не раз слышали в моих видео. Сегодня мы отмечали его день рождения, и одновременно с этим мы решили сделать небольшое интервью, и я решила поспрашивать его относительно учебы здесь, и потому что мы вместе учились на магистратуре. И далее я буду переводить все, что будет, потому что все интервью будет на английском. So, that was a small intro from my side, oh my god. So what do we have here?
So we have some Bombay Sapphire, and I guess we'll be cheering.
Cheering, okay.
To
Cheers.
my birthday.
Yes, to you.
And to the video.
Yay.
Okay.
Oh my god. Oh, that's horrible.
It's strong.
Let's a little bit dry. So, can you tell a little bit about yourself in general?
So,
So,
what do you want to know?
I mean, like, just your
Where I'm
background.
from.
Yeah.
So originally I am from California. I lived there for about 18 years, and then I moved to Seattle. I did my university in Seattle. I moved here, and then I did my master's here, and now I've been here for about 5 years.
5 years, right?
Yeah.
It's been some time.
It's been a long
It's been
time,
a long
yeah.
time. Okay, so in general, of course, I think you hear this question pretty often, that why did you come here? I mean, everyone wants to move to US.
Yeah, of course, but
leave the American dream.
yeah, but then it's also fun to live a different lifestyle. I think one of the main things I found attractive the first time I came here 7 years ago to study abroad was that the lifestyle is much slower. You can enjoy your time more. You can have like you time, you know, more personal.
Right.
You know, so it's like you can have a vacation, a weekend, you know, travel. When in the U.S. it's more work and business.
Yeah, I heard that you have like 5 days of vacation.
Sometimes it
For
depends on the company you work for. Like
Can it be less?
it can be nothing,
Oh my god.
but you can have vacation, but it won't be paid.
Aha, okay.
You know, so it really depends on how educated you are.
Aha, so
Be-
it's
The higher education you
Okay.
have, the better job you're going to have, the more likely you're going to have better benefits.
okay. That's nice. So okay, you moved here.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so far, I guess you're enjoying it.
Yeah,
For
it's
5
nice.
years.
It's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's different.
Well, I'm mostly concentrating here on the studying and like I'm telling about the Bashar. So, and you studied there. If you compare it to like U.S. education, what was your kind of learnings? I don't know where outcomes.
Yeah, so I've maybe attended now 3 universities. So three universities in the U.S., 1 university here. So my first one was when I was in high school. I did half high school, half college. It was not as challenging because I wanted to do lower classes. But then when I moved to Seattle, I did one for my administrative degree and then one for my bachelor's. I would say it depends on the quality of the school, but my school is ranked 23 in the world for business.
Okay.
So, and it's ranked number 7 in the world for entrepreneurship. So my focus was entrepreneurship. So it was really, really challenging. And when you compare it to the university here, I would say it was more creative and more in the moment. You know, because when you do university here, it's more about remembering like trends or remembering an idea or a theory that might have happened 20, 30 years ago that doesn't even apply to business anymore. Where you know, like when the university I went to, University of Washington, they work every year with major corporations like Google, Microsoft, Apple, Facebook, and they develop the curriculum for the next year. So at the beginning of the year, you know what the companies want from you for the next year, so that at the end of the year, you're hired directly into a position that meets their demands. So I would say it was like a job without being paid. It's like a job before the job.
Yeah, you can
So
kind of prepare for it.
So I would say it was like more creative. Like I did projects for the city on how to improve green energy, you know, and then I pitched it to the city so that they can actually develop better lighting energy throughout the whole city of Seattle. You know, so I would say this is where it changes, where there's not much available here in the aspect of really implementing, but more about learning about theory.
Okay. And in general, like here it's as well like cheaper and
Definitely,
these kind of
definitely.
things are like
fee, it really depends on what state,
of course.
what university, what's the ranking in the world, what kind of teachers you have, who are the fundings, what kind of companies are backing you. Is it like a research university or not, or is it like a tech university, or is it biology university? So it really depends on this. But in general, overall, even if it's a state, community, or like a university, because we break it down by 3, it really depends on the cost.
Okay, interesting. And with like, as you already like talking about the job and work after the university, like here, what is like as well? You worked in the U.S., right?
Yes,
like,
yes. I worked since I consider myself more entrepreneurial spirit. I've been working since maybe I was 7.
Okay.
You know, like I would do random things, like I would maybe help clean, or I remember at one point I was working for Avon, and I was like 9, and I was selling soap, and I wanted money, you know, so like I did many things, but officially, like, let's say legally, started working with like a tax deduction and everything. I was 18, and I started in retail, and I was doing it while university. So yeah, I've worked for a very long time now, for over 10 years, like actual work.
So, and if you compare like here in Czech Republic, it's
The
like
work?
for you, the work environment.
The work environment is very different, and it also depends on if the company is based like Czech, based German, based out of the US, based out of the UK. It really depends, right? Because then you have a different culture for the company. But I would say in general, the business culture here is a little bit more relaxed. In that people can still have a life. They can still work, but they can still like have children, go home, have a weekend. Where I think in the States, even while working in a university, or even attending a university and working at the same time, I would work 50 hours a week and still have a full load of classes and still have to do projects and everything. And you know, and this was me being part-time. You know, I wasn't even full-time yet.
It's 50 hours.
Yeah, so I would do sometimes 40, sometimes 50, maybe during like holiday time 60, you know, like it really depends on, but you know, you get paid for everything.
Yeah, that's the main thing. Here it's like overtime is
non-existent.
Like some, you know, only some companies, like mostly like US or UK based, they have this tracking system, but generally it's like not. It's just like you do as much as you can, and then you pay whatever. And the only thing is, like, as you mentioned about the classes, I know that, I guess, with this, it's just in the US, it's limited. You can't take more. Because here in the Vesha, I mean, you can take more. It's, like, up to you how many classes you can take. I mean, especially in Czech, like, as I studied.
Yeah.
But in the US, I think it's limited. You can't go further than a certain amount.
You can, but there's no possibility. You know, like, because, like, let's say you can take as many classes as you want, but in reality, the workload would be insane. So here I remember taking one semester 9 classes.
Yeah.
You know, like, and 9 classes is unheard of there. You know, like you would do 5 or 6 classes, but then this is considered full time. You know, because the credits are maybe 4 to 5 credits, but here the credits count differently.
Yes, exactly.
So I would say the workload just by class is heavier because it's more intensive, and you only do 3 months. You know, 3 months, you start. Let's say you start in September, you end at the beginning of December, and then that's considered a semester. So you do 4 a year, right? If you want to. But I would say yes, we're more limited also by this and by money, because the more you take, the more you pay.
Okay. Fair enough. So, but anywho, like, you don't, like, regret coming here, the experience of the
No, not at
university?
all.
It's like, it's so different. I mean, even how you say it.
It's really different. But you know, if you're working in business, a business is like international. So in order to get a good grasp on how business functions, you need to see different practices in different economies, let's say. So it just happens that the US is a leading business economy, so it's great to have your experience there because it helps shape all businesses around the world by practice. But it's also good to see a different side, so that you know, maybe there's something I can take here, apply it to there if I want to start my own business that functions better, you know, or maybe I can take the practice I have in the States, bring it here, and then have something that's never been seen in this economy or this market and be made into a profitable company here.
Well, and I guess it's the last kind of question. It's just like the language. I mean, a lot of people, they're like, you know, they're afraid. They come here, they're like, okay, the Czech, and of course it's hard. I mean, you've been...
Yeah, definitely.
You've been trying to study it, let's say this way.
For a long time,
yeah. But I mean, it's just like, you know, how people like, oh, how I can find a job here. Okay, study, you can still in English because there is a possibility, but the like job is... but even like for Russian-speaking people, when they come, they're like, oh my god, like I need to study like language first. But
I would say language is the hardest thing here, because you know everything else, like every country has something different, but in reality we're all pretty similar since it's so easy to travel, so easy for everything to spread. But I don't know, I find language is something that it can be a barrier, you know. Because you can't necessarily grow that fast if you don't know the language of the market you're in, because you need to be able to talk to the people within the country. So far I've had luck in having a job that allows me to speak my language because it is an international business. So if I were to ever change a position or ever change jobs, I would for sure focus on a company that is not Czech-based but international-based, because then I could find a more possibility for growth and a position and actually use my skills in, let's say, the English language.
Okay, so that makes sense. Like, I mean, like, it's like actually a lot of questions about the language specifically, and especially like for you as a like from the U.S., it's also like
it's
like
hard
how
to pronounce.
like seriously how just use it. I mean, you can try to study the word, but then you can pronounce
you can't
it.
say it. Yeah,
It's just like that simple. But
I would say like, okay, it depends also on the person, because I think a challenge is nice and it's fun. But if a person is afraid of challenge, then I would definitely not move to a language this different from an English-based language, you know.
For sure.
But it's going well. I mean, like I wouldn't have been here 5 years if it didn't work.
You're still working though. That's okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess. Oh my god. Sorry. So I guess that's pretty much it for what questions I had for this. So thank you.
No problem.
We can continue celebrating, I guess, because I will just real quick. Если у вас будут еще какие-то вопросы относительно того, о чем мы сегодня разговаривали, то оставляйте их внизу в комментариях. Я постараюсь потом, возможно, как-то с Джоном также поговорить, оставить эти комментарии, вам ответы внизу. Вот, ну, а мы, в принципе, продолжим отмечать, потому что Джон отмечает сегодня 30-летие, и поэтому мы с вами увидимся в следующем видео. Пока! Bye-bye!